Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Let's talk about adding an additional $768.42 into your pocket every single month, all the way up to $3,251.38. Now, as far as the minimum's concerned, that could jump up if you have a couple dependents up to $1,123.23. So it is a great program. This is not disability compensation. This would be added to that actual benefit. Wanted to jump into it. There is an article. I want to read a little bit about that and shine a little light in any of the corners they have missed with regard to eligibility and so forth. I absolutely love this program. Before we jump into it, I wanted to throw out a special thanks for some super chats. Thank you so much to Rick Bull 6060. I really appreciate your super comment chat thing. I don't really even know what they're called. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Thank you so much for that. Philip PC 1787, as well as Michael Hanley 393. Thank you so much for all of the support. I really appreciate those super chat comment things. Thank you so much. All right, so let's jump into this. The article here is on military.com. It's on military.com. It's an older article, nonetheless. It's still relevant and wanted to go through it here with you today. The headline is Veterans Readiness and Employment VRE Overview. Wanted to read through it, see if they missed anything, if there's any little nuancy things that you should know of, throw my 2 cents in, and reference some of the stuff and the actual eligibility requirements. Personally, I went through VRE. I applied, was denied. I applied, I was denied. I applied, and I was approved. So, for whatever that's worth, right? Let's jump into it now. All right. So, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. If you want to support the channel in other ways, consider being a member. Thank you so much to all you members. I truly, truly, truly appreciate your support. All right. Here we go. If you're a veteran who has a Department of Veterans Affairs disability rating and an employment handicap, you may be entitled to Veterans Readiness and Employment, or VR&E. It used to be vocational rehabilitation and employment, I think. Can't remember. It's been a while. And the other kind of, I guess, words for it is services under Chapter 31 of the GI Bill, which is the VRE. So these services include but are not limited to counseling, training, education, and job placement assistance. Now, the first thing that they're talking about that I think folks would maybe self-segregate out of this program is the fact that they say a employment handicap. Okay, it's kind of like saying the word disability, right? When it comes to VA disability compensation, disability kind of makes you think as though it's loss of use or loss of limb, those types of things. But if you are rated for anything, you know that it also includes things that you might not normally consider a disability in the traditional sense. So when we're talking about service or when we're talking about an employment handicap, rather, it's important to kind of have a different hat on when you're thinking about that. In other words, if it's difficult to hold a job, maintain a job, find a job that you are suitable for with your given service-connected disabilities, right? If you can't stand too long, you can't sit too long. If you get migraine headaches, 3 times a week, whatever it is, right? This is basically the cornerstone of getting approved, right? You need to, it can't just be because I don't like my job anymore, I want to go get a better job. It has to be, I can't really do my current job because of my current situation. I need to be retrained into something else. All right, so that's, and that's one version. There's different tracks. But anyway, let's move on. That's the most common. You may be eligible for many services through the VRE program, such as, and the story continues, and they got, 8 bullet points. Comprehensive rehabilitation evaluation to determine abilities, skills, interests, and needs, vocational counseling and rehabilitation planning, employment services such as job-seeking skills, resume development, and other readiness assistance finding and keeping a job, including the use of special employer incentives, on-the-job training, apprenticeships and non-paid work experiences, financial assistance for post-secondary training at a college or vocational, technical, or business school, supportive rehabilitation services including case management, counseling, and referral, independent living services for veterans unable to work due to the severity of their disabilities. So look, here's the thing. If, for most people that go through this program, it's I can't hold or maintain, or I don't have a job currently because of my service-connected disabilities XYZ. Really, I'd be better suited in this type of a role or job or employment. VRNE helps you bridge the gap. Maybe it's training or education to help bridge that gap. The example I've been loving to use is it's not always a degree that's needed, right? Everybody seems to focus on degree programs. You know, okay, well, if I had a bachelor's in X or a master's in Y, then I'd be able to land X job, right? So in addition to that as an option, there's also the option for other types of programs out there that really fast track a very specific, honed in approach, such as the Automotive Dealership Institute. What they do is they train financial managers, and the reason why I explain this is so you understand kind of the left and right limits on what kind of opportunities are really out there. So the Automotive Dealership Institute will train you for 30 days on specific technologies and all that stuff, the systems used to do that type of work, to become a finance manager for primarily automobile dealerships, but also a motorcycle dealership, an RV dealership, tractors, off-road vehicles, whatever, right? So pick your kind of flavor there. They all have a finance manager who's going to do the finance aspect. So with that, they do that 30-day training on all the up-to-date technology and all the stuff that you need to know, and then they help you get job placed. Now, if you utilize it through VRNE, which they are approved, VRNE and post 9/11 GI Bill, they're going to still help you find a job after you complete the program with them, and the VA through VRNE will also in tandem help you find a job. So you kind of have the best of both worlds as far as people and entities out there helping you land the job after. In the automotive dealership world, finance managers make well over $100,000 a year, and even over $200,000 in obviously in more high cost areas. So if that's something you're interested in, give them a call, check it out. The main point that I'm trying to make is don't hyper focus on I need to get a degree. Think about what the job you want is, and then back into what you need to get that job. What's the bridge that needs to be built? All right, let's jump back into this. VRNE eligibility. Eligibility and entitlement for VRNE are two different things. There's two-step process to get VRNE. Eligibility and entitlement for VRNE are two different things. You may meet eligibility criteria, yet not be entitled to services. The first step in the VRNE process is to be evaluated to determine if you qualify. To receive an evaluation for VRNE services, you must, this is a must, have an other than dishonorable discharge and a service-connected disability rating of at least 10% if you're a veteran, or a memorandum rating if you're currently serving of at least 20%. So if you have those two things, then you can basically apply for VRNE. So let's move on. Period of eligibility. Like many VA benefits, VRNE has a limited period of eligibility. Oh, I'm glad they're bringing this up. The basic period of eligibility for VRNE is 12 years from the date of separation from active duty service, or from the date the veteran was first notified by the VA of a service-connected disability rating, whichever comes later. For most people, it's going to be the latter, right? So it's going to be, I got notified of my service-connected disability, boom, the clock starts, 12 years. Now, you can get that 12 years expanded, or extended if the VA determines that you have a serious employment handicap. Now, I'm going to jump onto the VA's website here as well regarding the 12 years, because they did not spell it out. What they said here is is they just mentioned the 12-year. Now, on the VA's website, though, it says if you were discharged from active duty before January 1st, 2013, your basic period of eligibility ends 12 years from one of those dates. However, if you were discharged from active duty on or after January 1st, 2013, the 12-year basic period of eligibility does not apply to you. So, you know, this is the problem when publications are pushing out information. If you're just to read that from this publication and hear about the 12-year eligibility and that it's going to expire, you may go, oh, wow, well, you know, I'm coming up on the 12 years and I'm not in a position to do that today because of my life. Now, granted, 2013 is that time frame, so we're talking about if you discharged after 2013 and let's say you were rated right away, that's taking you to 2020. Oh, geez, my funny math. Takes you right to 2025. So we're right in that kind of moment in which you would be kind of falling into that world of, well, maybe I don't qualify. If you got rated after 2013 January, it's your 12-year eligibility does not stick to you. So let's move on. VA or VRNE program process overview. If you are eligible for an evaluation under the VRNE program, you must complete an application and meet with a Veterans Readiness Counselor. If the VRC, Veterans Readiness Counselor, determines that an employment handicap exists as a result of your service-connected disability, you will be entitled benefits. This is a really, really important piece. All of the power is in, it's almost like this is the CMP examiner, right? The counselor determines whether or not you get this benefit or not, based on the conversation you have with them. So you really need to paint the picture about your service-connected condition causing you an employment handicap, right? So moving on, you and the VRC will then continue counseling to seek a track of services and jointly develop a plan to address your rehabilitation and employment needs. You and your VRC will work together to determine your transferable skills, aptitudes, and interests, identify viable employment and independent living service options, explore labor market and wage information, identify physical demands and other job characteristics, narrow vocational options to identify a suitable employment goal, select a VRNE program track leading to an employment or independent living goal, investigate training requirements, identify resources needed to achieve rehabilitation, develop an individualized rehabilitation plan to achieve the identified employment and independent living goals. Here's my little tip on this. What they most likely will do is say, hey, find whatever. So you're going to do these aptitude tests, all that type of stuff. You're going to kind of land in a world of, okay, well, here's jobs that you may be good for. Then they're going to give you homework such as go find whatever 3 jobs listed on whatever USA Jobs, or find them on Indeed with private employers, whatever. Find 3 of these positions, and then you're going to look at the qualifications needed for those positions. So if you found 6 of those positions and 2 of them said no educational requirement, right? Or the requirements were very low, but probably so was the pay, probably exclude those, right? Go with the ones that are the higher pay with the higher requirements, so that way you can be put into a program that will help you obtain the different skill sets that are needed to obtain that position. I hope that made sense. Moving on, it states here the rehabilitation plan will specify an employment or independent living goal, identify immediate goals, and outline services and resources needed to achieve these goals. You and the VRC will work together to implement the plan and achieve successful rehabilitation. Now, there's some more information here, but I'm going to jump to, I think, a very important part, and I'm scrolling through it to see if they say anything. I don't really notice it. They're not really talking about the dollars, and they do a little bit. Okay, so they talk about the subsistence allowance, and Okay, good. They do talk about it. Let's jump into this. I'm going straight to the money now. So subsistence allowance, this is the money that they pay. If you're going through VRE, they will pay for your institution, whatever it costs to go to that higher education, or training program, and they're going to give you money per month through a subsistence allowance. So it says, in addition to receiving a monthly payment while attending training through VRE, you may also qualify for a monthly subsistence allowance. This is paid each month during training and is based on the rate of attendance, full-time or part-time. Obviously, if you go full-time, you're paid more than if you go part-time. Number of dependents and type of training. For example, a full-time attendee with 2 dependents could receive up to, in this case, it says $1,223.23 per month. Click here for the rates. And then moves on. This is the important part. If you're eligible for both Veterans Readiness and Employment benefits and post 9/11 GI benefits, you can choose the post 9/11 GI Bill's monthly housing allowance instead of the VRE subsistence allowance. Now, they don't state this in here. However, all you need for VRE to utilize your post 9/11 housing allowance is at least 1 day of post 9/11 GI Bill remaining in your GI Bill account. If you have anything remaining, you can speak to the counselor. They're the one pulling the levers. Let them know, hey, look, I still have post 9/11 GI Bill. I'd like to utilize that housing rate. Then what they'll do is they'll pull the levers and make that happen, and you will receive the housing rate while you go through the VRE program. Outstanding benefit there. So with that, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.